Boys, come, we've had some fun.
It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode number 147. My name is Tony B. With me again is David B. As usual. The views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. David, we do it because of what? Kaboom! Good morning, David B. You can catch us on all the platforms, YouTube, Google, all the platforms. David B., happy Saturday morning to you, brother.
The producer of all producer, it is producer Tony. It is the spring is in the air, my friend, or at least it feels, or yesterday it felt like it was in the air, today not so much, but the spring is in the air. It is in the air. We're coming up on springtime. The sun's coming up a little later, sun's going down a little later. It is just that time of year, and kind of reinvigorates, or whatever the proper terminology is for that, kind of gets everybody going, and seeing a lot more traffic on the road, seeing a lot more kind of this and that. And speaking of a lot more, oh man, I'm hurting this morning. A lot more. We were at the Great Divide last night, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis, and I don't remember a whole lot of how I got to where I was and how I ended up getting home and what time I got home. Anyway, at 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis, the Great Divide. Great place to go after Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to kind of unwind and hear some great music. You get great conversation, and just a place where kind of everybody goes. Those normal or everyday people and you can hit it up, get some great conversation. And it's just an excellent spot to go. We were met with open arms without having any reservations last night, and there was nice. 5 of us, and it was absolutely outstanding. Producer Tony, main question I have today is, how are you?
Man, I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good.
You're sounding great. You absolutely sound great.
Yep, I appreciate you asking. Feel a lot better. Have a little anxiety thing going on there, and
okay, understood.
Settled out.
Understood that this industry that we're in will definitely cause a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah, as you're reading your emails and getting hit with it again, right? Boom. You're like,
yeah, I'm sitting in the office this morning, and I'm automatically like, I don't drive the truck. You know, they think that you and I book it, price it, and drive the truck.
Yeah. It's funny.
But whatever. So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, again, you're doing well.
Doing great, man. Feel really good. Little weekend to rejuvenate, and then, like you said, this weather has been incredible, and I think it's going to get cold here in a couple days, and then heat back up, David, in the middle of the week.
Right. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, it's going to be a little chilly this morning, but I like it this way. So, but you like it hot.
July is
teach their own.
July is my favorite month of the year. I love July. I try to.
July used to be, and I might be wrong with this assessment, or correct me if I'm wrong. Is July still normally the wettest month of the year, or is that, wettest as on average, not wettest as in the way things have been? But I thought, maybe I'm just spitballing here, and maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I thought I heard a thing back in the day where July was or is the wettest, on average, the wettest month of the year.
David, you are.
I don't even know what made me.
You are a smart man. But it's changed. It's changed, though.
I'm not sure about that.
It's June now.
Okay.
It's June. June averages, on average now, has increased to 12.3 days with 0.04 inches of precipitation. So June is the wettest month in central Indiana, with average precipitation of 5 inches a year.
I got the
You
J
got that
right. Not
right. Hey,
necessarily.
I would have
Okay,
never
got
guessed that. I would have picked, honestly, I would have thought like, March or April.
Just in my
Yeah.
head. Sorry, I'm not
No,
cut you
but I
off.
would have thought March to April. I guess what's weird though is they do call the wet season in Indiana March 26th to August 21st.
So right in there,
Yeah.
I guess right in the middle,
Yeah,
then, right? I mean,
right.
technically, if you're going with
And
June,
the dry season
so
is August 21st to March 26th. I guess I didn't really, would never thought that.
I wouldn't have. Wow. I mean, you think of. I mean, I'm thinking back to thinking to my college football days. Not that I played college football, but my tailgate days for college.
You were
100%.
playing.
That is
Yeah.
legitimately. Oh man, there's no way. The dry. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it always seems super dry during that time of year where there'll be burn bans or whatever going on campus, and that's what I'm getting at is the burn bans or whatever. So. Yeah, all right. That makes perfect sense, I guess. Whatever, for anything that needs to make sense, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting though, because I would have never thought that. Honestly, because
I,
I actually now that I'm thinking about it, I get it because so I have the pull cover, right? And it seems like, yeah, I guess it would make sense. Okay.
on the Olympic sized pool of
Yeah.
all pools.
So what I noticed last year is that
Right.
I had to I had to drain the pool in like April, take a little bit of water off of it because it's level right now. So this year will be a good indication too.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty level right now. So I've been
Okay.
wondering, like, all the snow and rain and stuff we had, like if I was going to have to kind of take some water off it, but I haven't had to, which
Nice.
means I'll probably have
Okay.
to in April, May, June. April will be open by May, April sometime. So, but
That's my favorite. That's my favorite female name, April, May, June.
is it really?
Never mind.
April.
I mean, hey, before we go any further, and I'm going to be remiss if I don't say this, and I meant to say this last time we had a show. Shout out to NCT. Shout out to our man, Northern Cross Towing. Our dude on October the 11th is getting married in Coal City, Illinois, and I just want to throw out a big shout out to him. Congratulations to him and his new bride to be. And my man is marrying a doctor. Kudos to him for. Shout out to NCT. Shout out to Northern Cross Towing for out there in Idaho and giving us props and backing us up. And he's our man. And I'm gonna, you know what, Producer Tony, I'm gonna make every single effort I can that day to be there. Yep, I'm going,
Are you
brother.
really?
I'm going.
That's incredible.
Why not? I mean, he has backed us up. He's done a great job. And Coal City, Illinois, technically is around the corner, I guess, or whatever. But shout out to him. Shout out to his beautiful new bride. And they're going to be, nailed it. He texted me that he was, and I was so happy. I mean, like my man. And I immediately said, my man marrying a doctor. Boom. Just well done. Well done. He's a hardworking dude. He went from the trucking to the towing side and he's doing really well. And anybody listening, give a shout out to NCT. Check him out online, Northern Cross Towing, and he is our man. He's our man, Renee, you are a good dude, good dude, and congratulations.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to throw that out, and sorry I didn't kind of do that pre-show, but I wanted to get that out without, I feel obligated that we need to give him a shout out because he's a legit in studio good dude, on the over the phone good dude, and he's been there with us, and we need to support him.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking for. I never had heard of Coal City.
Yeah, I had neither, but little spot in the road is what it looks like to me. Or when I looked it up, it looked like it was a little spot in the road, kind of. When I looked it up, I felt like it was north central.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. North central, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's not too far away. It's from
kind of north central. 5 hours ish away,
just
or
west of
something like
Kankakee.
that.
Yeah, west of Kankakee.
Who doesn't know where that is? I mean, come on now.
People in Chicago don't know where it is.
Right. Well, people in Chicago think it's only Chicago in
Like,
Illinois.
what?
So
Another part of the state
right,
here.
there's something. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. There's nothing east of
Oh.
us, so there can't be anything
Wow, yeah.
southwest or north.
What do you mean? There's the
So,
capital's here, isn't it? No. It's downstate.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right. It's Coal City.
It's by Coal City.
We got this. We got this.
Shut the coal
City,
down.
Illinois. So congratulations again,
Yeah.
NCT. Renee, you're a good dude, man. I can't wait.
I know. That's good stuff, man. Congratulations, brother. That is
Yeah, for sure.
have
For
to
sure.
give him a little applause there.
Right.
Congrats.
Yes. Yeah, and I sorry to throw that on.
No, that's good stuff.
It's just kind of
Real good stuff. But so David,
producer
when
Tony.
I say the name Pete Rose, what comes to your mind?
First 3 words that come to my head. First 3 words that come to my head, and this whatever your thoughts on this gentleman are, or what your thoughts on this gentleman are, but the first 3 words that come to my head are Hall of Fame, and I know that I don't know where we're going with this or whatever, but I almost feel that's kind of a taboo thing, in the late 80s, early 90s. I remember driving from here to go to Cincinnati to watch a Reds game for either $3.50 in the red seats or $10 in the blue seats. And there was a Pete Rose Way, and that was the name of the road. I'm sorry, the name of the street was the Pete Rose Way or whatever. And what everybody does, I mean, you and I are definitely not perfect people, or we're not angels, or we're not whatever, but I want to be remembered. I guess where I'm going with this, and I guess where I'm going with this is I want to be, or we should be remembered for what we gave to our profession. That sounds so bad. I don't even know why I feel like bad saying that, but I feel like
I know what you mean.
we're gauged on what we do as a profession. And in my head, you're a Hall of Famer. Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer. I mean, if there's a logistic Hall of Fame, Tony B should be top list, and a baseball Hall of Fame. I guess where I'm going with this is based off of numbers. Pete Rose should be that guy, and correct me if I'm wrong, and whatever anybody's opinion is what it is, and I'm not saying I'm right. That's just the way I feel. Where are we going?
No, I love it because you hit a lot of the points there.
Okay.
So the president is saying he's going to pardon him, and hopefully posthumously.
McAfee. All right, I'm going to need your help with the
right.
I need your posthumously. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
McAfee. You nailed it. Let's just call it McAfee.
So yeah, he released a statement. He said baseball should have pardoned him, whatever. Now he's passed away. He's a better player than most who have made it in there. That's true. So he says he's going to pardon him. He's calling on baseball to basically, I'll quote him: baseball, which is dying all over the place, should get off its fat, lazy ass and elect Pete Rose, even though it's far too late, into the Baseball Hall of Fame. I mean, I agree with him. I think it's I watched an interview a long time ago with the legendary Johnny Bench, who I love and admire and deeply respect. He was on the Dan Patrick show, and
I love Dan Patrick.
He's my
Dan Patrick, by the way. Anyway,
he's my go-to guy in sports. I love him too. Shout out to Dan Patrick, legend.
Yeah,
natty guy.
Yes.
So Johnny Bench admitted that he was using an illegal substance. Well, it was not deemed illegal And then they were told they were leaving. But he doesn't think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because he gambled, whatever. So then my whole thing is
Okay.
Johnny Bench, you just admitted that you were using an illegal cream. They were using an illegal cream up until like 1963, and then they deemed it, couldn't use it anymore. Well, Bench claims he stopped using it. He's a pretty good character guy. I'm assuming he probably did, but how the fuck do we know, right? So, I mean, it's just, and then you got, what was it last year? There were 4 college kids suspended for gambling, right? And they got back in 3 games later, right? So we're in this this thing of where, you got some college kids who haven't even contributed a damn thing to their team that got caught gambling, and they're still eligible to play. But yet you got some, and they'll be eligible to make the Hall of Fame for their college, right? So they didn't ban them and say, well, if these guys are too good and they get too great and they become Hall of Fame, we're not going to retire their numbers, right? They didn't say that. So, but they're saying that with Pete Rose. I'd like to see it happen. Hopefully it happens, because they probably should have done it before he passed away.
Right. So to your point with that, and again, I'm all right with being corrected because I'm normally not ever right. So I'm not advocating for him, and I'm not advocating for him. But are we in a? I'm kind of changing the subject just maybe a little bit. Are we in a society now where? And I don't mean this in the wrong way. I don't mean this in the right way, because I'm just trying to understand where we're at. I mean, are we in a society nowadays where it's just okay to? Man, I feel like I'm saying wrong. It's okay to just be like, you know what, I did this, so what? Let it be and go on. And I'm not saying that this is that scenario. I'm just saying that, when you look at let's just say, staying in the sports world, when you look at a Rick Pitino, or Rick Pitino did what he did in Louisville and his indiscretions, and I'm the motherfucking king of indiscretions or whatever.
Right.
I mean, do you? It's all like, yeah, sure. Let him come to IU and coach IU, and you're like, wait a minute, does that not? I mean, again, I'm not saying that anybody should be pardoned. Nobody should be pardoned. Everybody should be pardoned. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just, is there a line, or are we? Again, I should never ever be anybody's patron saint or anybody's indiscretion or whatever. But I don't know. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean,
I'm not trying to say the wrong thing. I'm just trying to understand where we're at.
Let me put it in perspective, if I can, if it even does it. It may not. It may even convolute anymore. Ray Lewis is in the Hall of Fame.
Boom. Yeah, no, that's exactly where I'm going with all this. Exactly where I'm going. I'm not trying to, he said, she said, they said, this said.
No,
whatever.
I know you're not.
Yeah, because, I'm not.
I think our balancing.
I'm just in my head, I'm just trying to understand where that line is, or if there's a line or there isn't a line or whatever. Like,
I think it's gray. It's very gray.
What's the name of the? I'm not pointing fingers. Just a name that came to my head. I mean, John Gruden is. He was taken out of the Bucks Hall of Fame. Now he's back in the Bucks Hall of Fame, and whatever. I'm not saying he shouldn't be. I'm not saying he whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but it just. Where do we draw that? What's the, or is there a line or whatever? And I'm not saying somebody should be, somebody shouldn't be. I'm just trying to understand.
No, I know. I think some of it gets political, I think, and gets thrown around in the media and gets treated worse than it probably should be. I'm not defending Gruden for what he said, apparently, but
I don't even, I actually can't tell you whatever it was. I don't even legitimately know. I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So
It
anyway,
just
go
seems
ahead.
like some
Sorry.
of it gets politicized so quickly and taken out of content that it ends up serving a side in its purpose, you know. And if you go back to during that Pete Rose era, he was very popular. And remember, the Reds were always like in second place, it seemed like, right? Like they were always, I
Right.
think when he was the
Right.
manager, they were like the winningest team in their division, but they'd only won their division once or twice. And they kept finishing in second and third. But
Mhm.
I just think sometimes an athlete or even a politician can get so popular that the other side just will do everything they can to take them down. And
Okay.
and I think
Okay.
that's a little bit what happened to Pete Rose, is that he was so popular. And remember how close him and the owner were, Marge, and
Long
yeah,
shot.
and
Yeah.
and they just had a good thing going on, and then it just seemed like they just weren't liked by a sector, and it just caved in on them.
Okay.
So Bart
Yeah.
Giamatti
That's a
didn't
good
like
point.
him.
I never
Yeah,
thought
Bart
of that.
Giamatti
I
didn't
never thought,
like him.
oh
He didn't
yeah,
like Marge
Pepsi
either.
body.
So
And if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember right, I think uh, who was pulling Bart Giamatti's
exactly.
strings. It feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like soon after that whole thing happened, and unfortunately, I don't mean this in any certain way, that I think didn't he
Yeah, he
pass like
did.
immediately
Died of a
after
heart
that?
attack, I
Or it
believe.
seemed like he had
Yeah.
passed. Okay, all right, and that sounds. I mean, and just in my head, I'm like, it seems like Giamatti passed just soon after that.
He did, yeah.
Soon after.
And he was the
Okay,
one who
all right,
banned him
all
with
right.
no evidence and wouldn't show the evidence, right? Remember that?
Okay.
Like, well, we have
Right.
the evidence.
Okay.
Well,
Yep. Now
yeah,
it's all right. Now it's coming
yeah.
together. I get where, and so I used to. I know you, and when Tony and I have the very fortunate um Tony and I are very fortunate to get together a couple times a month or every other week to discuss just BS our way through a Thursday afternoon, and we're big AM radio, or at least not to speak for you, producer Tony, but I feel like we're big AM radio guys. And back in the day, I was a huge 700 WLW out of Cincinnati radio,
Yeah,
and not so much as more anymore, but when they had a lineup of personalities that worked at that
oh
radio
yeah,
station, that was that topic
I
24
bet.
hours a effing day, 7 days a week, 7 days a week. That was the way that was. And it was such a great, probably not the right word to use, but it was an all encompassing topic of Pete
Mm-hmm.
Rose this, Pete Rose that, because he was legitimately Cincinnati,
Yeah,
dude, legitimately
was
Cincinnati.
all about it.
And right, right, yeah, yeah. Back in that day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a topic. I mean, great, good kudos to you for bringing that up. I mean, that brings back so many memories. And those of you listening that don't give a poop about sports, I get it. Or if you're still listening, but that resonated, man. That resonated huge. I mean, not just with this area, but anywhere technically. I mean, this area is kind of a Reds area, kind of a St. Louis area, kind of a Chicago White Sox or Cubs area. You get a little bit of everything around here because we're centrally located. But man, what a great! It just brings back so many memories. What the Big Red Machine, right? I mean, isn't that what it was? The Big
Big
Red
Red
Machine back
Machine,
in the day.
man.
Rose, Bench, Foster, Griffey, Davy Concepcion, and list goes on and
So
on. But what
to
a
just put a little capsule on it here, in 2016, Rose was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. He was the last
mhm.
member of the Big Red Machines Elite Eight to be inducted.
So if I may, without any, I'm gonna go the Elite Eight. I'm just guessing. I'm gonna go Rose, Bench, Griffey, Foster, Concepcion. There's five. That's five.
Joe Morgan,
Dang it, dang it, dang it. All right,
Smoking
Joe
Joe, dude.
Morgan
Joe
at
Morgan was a
six.
badass at second, dude.
Dude, yeah, that's on me. That's 100% on me. That I didn't say Joe Morgan. That's 1,000,000%.
What about the center
Give me the
fielder,
last two.
Foster, dude? Foster hit 50 home runs.
All right, George Foster.
The maniac.
Yeah, I thought I said
Oh, you
I'm
did?
pretty sure I
You
said
did.
Foster, but maybe I didn't.
No.
And who else? There's two more.
Yep.
Or is there two
The
more?
Reds 8. Hang on.
Or does it give that? I mean, maybe it doesn't.
Hang on, I'm gonna look at it. Yeah, it didn't name me the 8. Well, here it is, the grade 8.
I can't think of any.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. It's coming up.
I can't think of any. I
think you got them all. That's pretty good,
or whatever.
Well, they did. Yeah,
I only got 6. I got 6 of the. Barely got. I mean, Morgan would have been 6 of the 8. I still missing 2. If there's an elite 8,
same again.
2. All right, so we're gonna go Rose, bench, Morgan. All right. So I'm gonna leave Morgan out. So Rose, bench, Foster, Griffey, Concepcion. That's 5, and so Morgan would be 6, and I'm missing 2. If there's 8, I'm missing 2.
Cesar Geronimo.
I'm trying to say. Oh, boom! All right,
and Joe Morgan.
Geronimo.
The manager was obviously Sparky.
Sparky,
one of the best ever.
Yep. Went on to coach the Tigers for long time.
What a squad, though, right?
Dude,
I'm looking at their picture. They call him the Great 8. And Pete Rose. I mean, it's just silly that he's not in the Hall of Fame. I think it got political.
Based off his
You just take his playing days. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame, man. I mean, I mean, it's anyway.
I yes, 100% agree with. I didn't even think that was where this was going, but yeah, that's.
I just can't believe he told baseball to get off its fat lazy ass. It's like, because I think it's funny.
Could you even name 5 Major League Baseball players right now?
No, I probably could. I could name Trout.
But back in the day, I felt like when you and I were growing up, and correct me if I'm wrong, or in my head, I feel like that everybody from whatever team to whatever team, you knew that lineup, and even the reserves. You're like, and again, there's not at the time where Tony and I were growing up, there was no social. Thank God, there was no social media. There was no whatever. You had a newspaper, or you bought a newspaper and looked at the scoreboard or the stats or the whatever, and that's how you got to know who was who and who they played for and this and that. And there was actually, I mean, even staying in baseball, I mean, you got your highlights on Saturday morning on This Week in Baseball with Mel Allen or whatever. I mean,
this is Mel Allen.
That song's resonating through my head right now. Anyway, and that, I mean, that's when you got your. I mean, we didn't have the all-encompassing of 24 hours a day sports, this or that, or 24 hours a day news, or 24 hours a day that. All right, highlights. I mean, you might have known that the Reds beat the Dodgers 3-2 on Tuesday, but I mean, when This Week in Baseball came on, you were keyed in and you were like, boom, or whatever time Saturday morning it came on, because that's just the way things were. Kind of a simpler time, I guess. Or
it was a big deal, and I think it's it's basically almost killed itself, right? It's like,
you fans check the newspapers each week to read which major leaguers top the charts in the various offensive and pitching categories.
What a great voice!
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Right. I don't know if that is that music copyrighted, because gosh darn, there is no better intro or outro, not an intro and an outro. I mean, not just the intro. The outro was just as good as the intro. I mean, and correct me if I'm, I'm going on memory here. I'm not I mean, doesn't that sound right to you, or does that not sound right to you?
No, it is. It is.
The intro and the outro were just mutually just as good.
Great show.
I
man.
feel like they were just.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of an operatic is not the right word, but kind of a symphonic.
It was a great show, dude.
It's symphonic. It's symphonic the right kind of it's
like a symphony.
A symphony sound.
Yeah.
A symphony sound to both the intro and the outro, though. But you knew when you heard that music that it's going to be a good show.
Couldn't get enough of it.
Even if you didn't like baseball. And I think seems like baseball's fallen out of favor, but I could be wrong. I just don't follow pro sports like I used to.
I think it's hard to.
I'd much rather watch college.
Yeah, I think it's hard to follow it because you have to pay so much to watch it these days that you just don't. It's when we grew up, it was heck, I could watch the Cubs every day at 105 on WGN, and then I could watch the Sox at night on WFLD TV. Channel 32.
To your point, I mean, we discussed this a little bit earlier, where my wife and I, we could legitimately, at the time we were dating as we were teenagers or whatever, we could legitimately drive to Cincinnati, Ohio, and watch a Reds game for either in the red seats high up for $3.50, or the blue seats, which are way down low, for a mere $10. And yeah, you're not doing that. You're not even paying to park for that amount of money anymore, or whatever.
David,
we can go to. I've been going to Indianapolis Indians games.
I know you love that. That's good stuff.
Hell yeah, I love that. Even when I was again going back to my teenage years, living in BFE, rural ass Indiana, driving to Indianapolis, legitimately down Lafayette Road, which is still the same kind of demographic. I don't mean that wrong. Demographic as it was then, as it is now, and never feeling out of place and parking for whatever and catching an Indianapolis Indians game, I'll just say for $5 or $3 or whatever it was, and sitting right up front. And now you can spend $30 on a seat and get absolutely the best service of all. I mean, based off of $30 is going to get you a waiter and excellent service, or $90 a seat for all you can eat, all you can drink, and the game ticket, which they're losing money off of me and my group. But still, legitimately in this day and age, that's a steal, an absolute steal, or at least in my head, because you're losing money off of that. My demographic, me and my three other people, you're losing money off of us. All you can eat, all you can drink, right there. Boom.
Wow.
It's still a steal, or at least in my head, it feels like it's a steal. Maybe it's not, but it feels like it's a steal.
Yeah. Yep.
Just saying.
David, I've got
producer.
I've got sad news to report. Switching into this quick little topic here. Live Nation killed the masses and took away the passes.
Dude. Yes, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is definitely something this is more of a Tony topic, more of a producer Tony topic than it is me, because what immediately your thoughts had to be, well, this is BS, or I mean, what was going through your head, or what are your thoughts? And to clarify, Live Nation is producer Tony likes to go to a lot of music around the Indianapolis area, and Ruoff, whatever you call it, is doing away with their pass or whatever.
They killed the masses.
Where you legitimately got to see X amount of shows for $10 or less for the year.
About 17, 20, less than $20, depending on how many shows you go to. Mine was $14.
And now not only, so now, and correct me if I'm wrong, not only are they doing away with this pass that you got, they're also making you have to pay to park.
And you got to buy a chair to sit down in. $20 here, $20 there. So yeah, it's like a lot of people are upset about it. Yeah. Yeah. It's
understandably
ridiculous.
so, or
yeah.
do you?
Well, look, I grew up in Chicago, okay, and I go to a lot of sporting events my whole life. And in Chicago, you pretty much got to pay to park. I get that, right? You got to pay to park. They're paying people out there to do that. So okay, whatever. Maybe $10, maybe $5, maybe you add. So the season pass was like $250, right? So I always told Ann, like when we go for years, I've been like, I can't believe they don't pay to park. You don't have to pay to park here. And like when my buddy comes from Chicago every year, he's like, I can't believe you can't pay to park here. And I'm like, I know. So I get it, but like if you're gonna, my opinion is, so maybe the season pass is $500 and it covers it all.
Is that
But no, they didn't do that. They created like these stupid concert packages, like one you're going to go to and two you really don't know, but man, we'll give you a great deal on it, right? It's like, what? I don't want to do that.
Okay, so they've came out with
They're
that.
doing some stupid stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So what I think you're saying is you're like, not this year.
Well, we had to buy some tickets, so it's interesting because I told Ann. So my theory's always been. And it's true. It's true. I feel bad saying it, but it's so true. Once things get corporatized, they just turn to crap, right?
Okay.
Like Robin Williams in the movie RV, if you've ever seen that movie, that is the epic description of when he works for a company that's going to buy another company, and he falls in love with this company, how their culture and ethics are, and he just, and finally it dawns on him, like, my company shouldn't buy this company because we're going to turn it to shit, right? So he tells the company, you shouldn't sell, and they're shocked because they're looking forward to all these millions, right? And then he just tells them, what my company's going to turn you into crap. That's really what Live Nation's done. So, and then they're in constant lawsuits about rigging tickets and stuff. So it was a good thing. Ruoff is a great, epic place to see a concert. When you get these other entities with their fangs in it, and it's worked to their advantage because now all these concerts are selling out, David. So I don't know if they knew that was going to happen, because people are getting out more because of COVID's over and all this stuff. So the trend is more and more people are getting out. So did they, Ruoff was mentioned, the eighth best place in North America to see a concert, and one of the best revenues, places to see. So I think they took advantage of that, and they said, how could we increase the profits more? So it was the eighth place in North America to see a concert. Yes, rated as the eighth best place. Yeah. And one of the top 10 financially to go have a concert at. So now I imagine they won't be in the top 5. So, I'm paying now. So the Dave Matthews concert that we'll go to. So check this out. I'm already paying $200 more. Yeah.
So you're kind of going where I wanted to go with this, and how do people how in my head? I mean, how does anybody afford to do stuff like this? And I only do in my X amount of years on this earth, for the last 37. I only do a game, a whatever, or a whatever if it's a business write-off. I don't do it based off of any other whatever, because I'm just completely
it's expensive,
and I'm not trying to,
and that's all we'll go to all this year, because it's just too expensive, man.
That's fair.
It's like,
I get it. That makes sense.
Pay to park $20.
I mean, my wife does those. My wife goes to the same shows that you go to. When I in my head, I'm like, how or what? And like you mentioned, I mean, I guess if it's your your only venture or whatever for the year. That makes sense, but man, boy, that's expensive. Gosh,
So
darn. I mean,
I'll tell you something funny.
Sorry.
So I've been posting under my alias on X, Twitter, formerly Twitter. Every time they announce a concert, I'll put, "Oh, I can't wait to hear the new song," and then I'll put in quotes, "Can't wait to hear the new song." How Live Nation killed the masses by taking away the passes. And then people will comment and be like, "Dude, why did they do it? Why did they do it?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I'm probably blocked from their site. Who cares? I don't care. It's not mean or anything.
I keep track of. I definitely keep track of. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for live music, and I'm an advocate and whatever. And I always look, like, probably on a weekly basis, like, but it's a smaller venues, a smaller Indianapolis venues, your Hi-Fi, your Vogue, your whatever. And yeah, just because in my head I'm like, holy Jesus, how do people spend this money? But I can't. I don't know. I mean, I know artists deserve theirs, and is Live
And the prices went
Nation
up $20 a ticket
technically
too.
at fault? I mean, they're the ones at fault, right? I mean, how come you can't have let's just say, let's just go with your Dave Matthews and go into Ruoff. How come Ruoff just can't have somebody in the window or somebody in the office or somebody in the whatever? I know things aren't, this isn't 1987, but how come there isn't that where just the venue can't be responsible for taking care of who it is coming to town? It's just in my
Well,
head.
no, it's a good point.
Dave Matthews and tickets are 35 or $40, and they're going to take $5 or $7 a ticket off of, just say 10,000 tickets or whatever the seating is. Why isn't that why is it we can't go back to,
I know,
or have
it takes money, man.
Thing, but why?
I think it's what it is. In 1997, Sunshine Promotions built the amphitheater, acquired by SFX. SFX was acquired by Live Nation, who continues to own it. So Live Nation actually owns Ruoff.
Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Did you know not. That? I thought Ruoff was independently owned because I had known another company had owned them. I didn't know SFX was purchased by Live Nation. That's how these companies do it, man. They get another one to buy them, and then they buy them for more, and they all get paid, right?
That is complete
BS.
Now it makes sense. That is complete BS. Oh, yeah. Man, that's just in my head. I could be wrong.
And if you're listening,
that is complete.
And if you're listening, I implore you to go on to Wikipedia and look up Live Nation's history. It's not that great, man. I mean, they've been in a lot of trouble, accused of a lot of things.
There's a band coming to Fort Wayne in May that I really, really want to go see. And before you said that, part of me wanted to legit drive to the venue, because I feel like in my head I should legitimately be able to drive to the venue, purchase tickets for, let's just say $35 or whatever. I mean, so somebody else I'm tired. Why the F?
Oh.
Why the F do we think it's okay? And I know, because we're just going to keep doing it. Like, well, okay, it's the way it is, that you're spending whatever to see a show because Live Nation legitimately owns the effing venue. Right. That is, dude, man, I had no idea that was even.
Yeah. So I didn't either. So then so Columbus, Ohio has a Live Nation venue, right? So I think I don't know, man, don't hold me to this. There's probably about 10 to 20 locations throughout the country with them. And in the Live Nation in Columbus, it's like the same artist. It's all, it's all the same. So you always wonder why certain artists don't come to this platform or whatever platform you're going to. It's because it's owned by the music people, and they've not invited them for whatever reason, because they have a relationship with Sony or whoever, right? And so
it's funny you say that.
No, I was just go ahead, because that's really it.
Because because 100%. Because in my head I'm like, how come this artist doesn't come
Right.
to Indy? Well, you explained it in detail. That is,
Yeah, because I always wondered why Foo
just
Fighters used to come, like when it was when they just kind of would book who they could, but then they have these relationships with studios, and kind of like, you know what? That's a good point, man, because it's kind of like the Live Nation and these other venues have turned into what the radio stations used to be, where radio
okay,
stations would just get lobbied to play certain music, and they would
right.
pay the disc jockey, and the disc jockey would
But they,
put them on.
but to your point with that, and you being where you're from or whatever, and help me out here. And I'm pretty sure I remember like
Oh yeah,
WLS in
big time.
Chicago bringing bands
The
in
studio.
and then taking them to a local studio and or taking them to a local. I mean, as remote as this may sound, not to date how old Tony and I are, but like a high school
Right.
or a local community center for that band to kind of promote their. Right?
Well, yeah.
Am I remembering that right or remembering that wrong?
No, it's
or
right,
whatever?
because one of the great stories all time is Loretta Lynn, the country star. She and her husband traveled around from radio station to radio station to try to get them to play their album the little 45 that they had made. They made a couple 45s, and they traveled the whole country. And then finally, some guy, I forget where it was, played it, and people were like, "Man, play that again!" And they kept playing it, and then it just took off. And then she got a recording gig. That's how difficult it was back then. I'm sure it still is difficult, but sometimes I think I always feel these artists are constantly being pushed in my face, and you wonder why. And it's because of these relationships with the music companies. And yeah, it sucks actually. Maybe it's always been that way. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, maybe it has, but then you kind of look back or think about the quote unquote what could have been the simpler times where, let's just say, not to use the Beatles, but the Beatles were coming to town, and you would bring them into the radio
Right.
station, and you would discuss their show, and then go to the local wherever to do a promo thing or whatever. And but now, I mean, I don't know. It's just in my head. I'd much rather just drive to a venue and spend $35 or whatever it is to go see a show and not give my money to the place.
Well,
I mean, I guess it's all encompassing now. You're giving money to the place that owns it.
Well,
so,
Dave Matthews has always done a lot of these companies or artists have done a good job of fighting back against those prices. Dave Matthews. So usually, like, you can buy a lawn ticket for 35. I think it might be $45 last year. If you just wanted to go to one of his shows, that's pretty reasonable.
What's that capacity? 15,000?
I think it's 18. They say 18.
18.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's $5 a ticket. Where that, let's say 30 is going to the artist and 5 is going to the venue. Excuse me. There's still, 5 times 18 or 5 times whatever. You're still making, a poop ton, and then also off of your concessions.
Oh yeah, I mean, $20 a drink.
Take that.
Man.
I mean, boom. Yeah, I mean, take the ticket price out of everything. I mean, just the concession money that you're making, it's just, man, now it frustrates me that just the greed. I mean, that it's not just that industry. It's
so if 18,000 people show up, let's assume 9,000 because they drove, right? So they drove with somebody. So you can't say all 18,000 are going to pay $20 for parking. Let's just say 9,000 are. That's, I mean, shit, that's $180,000. That night they made more.
Just for
parking. Oh, wait, you want a chair? Let's say 18,000. Well, it wouldn't be 8. Let's say 10,000 want a chair.
You have to buy the chair.
You have to rent it. It's $20. That's another 200,000. So if they have a show and it's sold out and 9,000 people pay to park, it's 180,000. If 10,000 people get a chair, it's 200 grand. So they just made 380,000. They just made over $250,000 a show. Wow. Yeah, that's wow. Right? It couldn't be $5. It had to be 20. Like, wow. So yeah, it's sorry, man. I didn't mean to be screaming there. I just
no. I don't. I mean, it just in my head. I mean,
that's real numbers right there. That could potentially 10,000 people could actually run a chair. I don't know if they have 10,000, but probably not because they run out of them sometimes. People be scalping them for $30.
Yeah. Next time I know we just kind of spitballing with this topic, but next time if we know for sure that we're going to talk about something like this, who'd be great to have would be Matty Ice. I mean, Matty Ice,
right.
Just he would like it, man. I said, dang, man. It makes me kind of appreciate more the smaller venues that I go to, and I'm not saying they're not getting theirs. I'm just saying that it just makes me rather go to a Square Cat Vinyl, Hi-Fi, Vogue, Raskeller, where you're, I don't know, where it's $20 at the door or whatever, and you're not even thinking about how that's getting divvied up or, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just I'd much rather do that smaller venue.
Man, I would too. Well, that you know what, David, and I appreciate you saying that because I know you go to a lot of them, and for me, Ruoff is still, it's kind of like it always felt like I grew up in a large city. It always felt like I was going to some. It still does. It feels like I'm going to some place out in the middle of a cornfield, man, where nobody knows about it. And these people have discovered it for this night, right? Like we're pulling in and we're parking in these cornfields and man, we're walking into this thing that's dug a hole into the ground and you can't even see from outside. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. You go in and you're just like, holy shit, this is cool, man. It's an awesome place. They built that. They built it right. I mean, they really did. That's a great place. A great place to see, especially if your favorite band is going to be playing at the Ruoff and you don't go see them. Not just you. I'm not saying that to you directly, but to me, anybody. Shame on you, because that would be the place to see them.
Is the lineup for this year out
already,
it is. Or is it only partially
most
out,
of it,
or the full lineup? Is there something in that lineup for this year that you're like, yeah, I'm going, or is there not anything? Or something catch your eye? Is there something that's kind of like, you know what, I'm definitely doing this? And I did get I will say this, I think this year might be the first year I've ever going to go to Ruoff or going to go see a show at Ruoff.
Okay.
I think.
What remind me?
Simple Minds and Tainted
Simple Minds, Sunday, June 22nd.
Not Tainted. Is it Tainted? Not Tainted Cell, you stupid ass. Soft Cell is what I meant. Is that right? Simple Minds and I think Soft Cell.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or okay. Is it just those two, or is it?
There's it's not as strong as it has been the last couple of years. I will say that. I mean, when you can go see Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, and oh my God, Red Hot Chili Peppers in the same season. Holy cow, dude! That's epic.
Was that last
Dave
year?
Matthews? Yeah, that was last year. Yeah. Okay. Oh wait, no, you're right. Okay. Smashing Pumpkins was the year before that, right? Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah,
seems right.
It's all blurring together, but anyways, Lumineers. I don't know if you know them. Chris.
Probably not.
Toto, Christopher Cross, and Men at Work. That'd be kind of fun. That's on a Wednesday night. That wouldn't be bad.
Right.
Rod Stewart
on a school
yeah.
night.
A school night. Oh man, David, you'll have to get your work done earlier.
Yeah, that's
you couldn't do
I
that,
think
could you?
that
That'd be tough for you.
I think in my head, I think Simple Minds and Soft Cell is on a
It
Sunday.
is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be difficult for me to. And I'll get it right just because I milk I milk every single one of my days. By milk I mean I don't take them.
You got a lot banked.
Yeah, I'll work it. I'll work it in. I'll do. Matty Ice is the one that invited me to that show.
To which one? Oh, the Simple Minds.
Simple
yeah.
Minds and Soft Cell. I think is it just the two of them, or do you have that lineup in front
I'm
of
looking
you,
at it. It just says Simple Minds alive and kicking, but they're with them, I believe, because I saw that before.
Okay. It just seems though in my head that it would be more than the two, but maybe it is just the two, which is fine. But
man, I might have to join you.
What
with
an
that.
iconic band! That just to me that they should have been bigger than you two, but that's just in my head.
Yeah, Simple Minds is
and maybe where they're from, that is what they are.
Yeah.
But like domestically, I just felt like they should always have been bigger than what they end up being. But again, maybe they were, because I just live under a rock most of the time, so I don't know. I don't know. Dude, we had a great dinner experience last night.
Yeah.
I don't want to give shout out to
competition.
Shout out to the Great Divide for having us late because they're a sponsor. But have you ever been to Geraldine's in Fountain
No,
Square?
I never have. What's the name of it?
Geraldine's. No. You have to. You and Ann should. If you're doing a you just the two of you or you're doing a special something. I went in with expectations of it being far less than, considering like the competition, St. Elmo.
Oh, really?
Dude, wrong. And I'll admit when I'm wrong, 1,000,000%, I was wrong and they won me over on the first damn, and I'm like, shoot, it's kind of one of the things where you're like, I don't want to admit this. I guess we're coming back. It was legitimately that good. Legitimately that effing good. And there were six of us. And at no time were we ever, I'll say this, our bill was 13. And before tip, our bill was 13. And we just,
hold it. Wait a minute.
Great night. Jazz downstairs, jazz. We sat upstairs. It was so good. I was so, gosh darn, was it good. Just, man, I don't even know. So if he tipped 20, geez, if he tipped 20 off of 13, good Lord, dude. Okay. And she was,
I'm looking at their website.
On point. I had known of the place, known of it, just because it's Fountain Square, and I love Fountain Square.
How long has that been around?
That's a good question. Really, really good question. And I am not 100% sure. I want to say 2022, and I think I'm wrong.
No.
I'm guessing I'm wrong.
Okay. I'm looking here. I didn't know for sure. I asked you. It does say 2022 on their website, but it doesn't say that's the year we started. It just says 2020.
Boils from 3.
Boils.
Yeah, I'm not saying that but
yeah, it looks like you're right,
dude. If you are in
2022, yeah,
man, dang it. And the owner came by the table, and we kind of poop talked her, and she poop talked right back, and we're like, oh, okay. you're winning us over. It's, and they said, as soon as we sat down, the guys were like, all right. And I'm like, it's too early.
Was it everybody's first time there?
Kudos. Yep. I go, don't give them any credit. Don't give them any credit. Do not give them credit. And as the evening went on, like, stop giving them credit. We haven't paid the bill. Blah, 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 blah. And at the end, I'm like, damn it. It was that.
Well, this place has 600 reviews and averaging a 4.4, that's pretty damn good. It says the average per person is $100.
Yeah, so there were 6 of us. So it was technically the average would be, since we spent over 13, so technically the average per person was 200 or whatever.
Well,
but
probably drinks.
Right. Yes, 100% where I'm going. So we had at minimum 3 rounds of shots. We had 5 appetizers. We had yeah. So yep. Man, okay. But I highly recommend that place. And our reservations were for 6:15 last night, and when we left, I think we left at 8. I'm just going with 8:30.
Were they rushing you out?
Legitimately, no. So that was the thing. No.
Because sometimes at these fancy places, I feel like when you're done eating, they're kind of giving up on you. They're like, "You're ready to leave."
Fair. Yeah. From there, we went to the Great Divide, and the Great Divide was packed, and we legit got our normal kind of where you and I sit, and David came in, Mr. David Meek came and sat with us, and they nailed it. They nailed it too, not just because they're our sponsor or whatever, but man, they were on effing point. It's just good to have that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You and I are both kind of the same type of people that when we get the service is what matters. Yeah. So anyway, it was so good. So good. I would take Tracy there, but she'd probably complain about it.
Man, yeah, I'm looking at them. It looks like a good place to go. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, rustic. I'll go rustic. I mean, I don't know if rustic is the right word, but yeah. Yes, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely worth.
Well, that's what it says. It says
100%.
Geraldine's is a tip of the hat and throwback to the nostalgic steakhouse and jazzy clubs of the 40s and 60s.
Oh, yeah, fair. That's nailed it. 100%. Spot on. Yeah. Spot on assessment. That is. And you would have seen David B in a tie last night. I had a tie on just because I wasn't sure what to expect with going there. And I should have just dressed down, which is like I changed clothes like 3 times before I left the house. I'm like, I had on a golf shirt or bowling shirt like you and I have, our bowling shirts or whatever. And I'm like, I had a bowling shirt on, and I put a different shirt and a tie on. And I'm like, nope, different shirt and a tie. I'm like, okay, go with this. I should have just stuck with the bowling shirt, but it is what it is. So,
man,
yeah, I highly recommend that spot. They might have, dang it, as much as I hate to say, they might have won us over, but it's going to be hard to beat them from.
I mean, sometimes I think St. Elmo's is overrated. It's not the best place I've eaten at in town.
To your point with that, if we don't get, so the combine is in town this weekend. So we had reservations. So we called on Thursday, I think it was Thursday. We called just to make sure that, like, hey, we have our reservations. We just need to be guaranteed that we're going to get Andre as a server. And they're like, we can't guarantee that because of the big groups that we have coming in and with the combine. And we're like, all right, fair. Nope. I mean, if you can't guarantee us that that's who we're going to have, fair enough. Nope. We're going to move on, because to your point with what you're saying, the last time that we were there and we didn't get Andre, we were legitimately the whole time pushed to get in, get out. And I'm like, we're not spending that evening. We spent 9. We're not spending 9 to get pushed in, pushed out,
Right.
you know. And last night again, spent 13 and never one time at all felt rushed. And it was, to your point, yeah, man, dang it. I'm pretty sure they won us over, so it was that good, brother.
That's
good.
awesome,
So,
man. I'll have to check it out. You got
yeah,
me
I mean,
interested in it.
You and I are those kind of. I mean, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're those small business guys where you're going to support, you know, Great Divide.
Yeah.
So, you know, someplace like
Absolutely.
Geraldine's and someplace. Not, you know, I know St. Elmo is small business too, and kudos to them. But you kind of, we tend to, or I feel like we tend to go to those spots that, yeah, or the service 100% matters or whatever. So,
wow,
just saying,
man, that would be. We'd probably gain too much weight, but that'd be like a hell of a show, man, to go to these restaurants because I'm a big filet mignon person, and on their, you know, they got a picture of it right there, and it looks like it's just perfect. And
oh, dude, everybody kind of. So we got so everybody kind of. So I'm the only one that got a ribeye, and everybody else got. Man, everybody else had steaks, but I'm the only one that got a ribeye. And and as an appetizer, we had got pork or lamb chops. As an appetizer, we got 2 things of lamb chops. Holy Jesus, that was good. And I'm not a big lamb. I can't remember too many times that I've ever eaten lamb. Good God, dude, that was so good. Tender, whatever. And then everybody, what I'm getting at with this is everybody kind of sampled everybody else's, and hands down, everybody's like, that ribeye Dave got is what everybody should get next time or whatever. It was just, my point being, that was that good. So
here's one review by Gerald Gaines. He took, I'm sorry, Gerard Gaines, local guide, took 29 photos of his meal. Yeah, I have been to a lot of steakhouses, and I am shocked that I have never heard of this place. The food was immaculate. Our server, Nick, was beyond knowledgeable of all the items. The steaks and lobster tail, the risotto, the scallops were cooked to perfection. We will most certainly be back. Atmosphere 5, service 5, food 5.
I can attest for the we'll definitely be back part of it. Yeah, because
it's making me hungry.
Gosh darn. So it was on the corner of, dang it. It was on the corner, help me out here. It was on a corner, man, I forget the roads. It was on the corner of something and something. But just kind of what I'm getting at is just kind of kind of where you wouldn't expect something to be. You're like, oh, okay. I mean, legit a residential, nothing else around but residence or whatever. So you're like, so this is where this is at or whatever. Again, I don't remember the crossroads or whatever, but you're kind of like, all right. They did it again.
There's only one stupid review here. Some guy went on Valentine's Day and said he was disappointed. But he still gave it a 3. Oh, my God. Yeah, but there's a lot of good reviews here, man. It's incredible.
Valentine's Day. Do you do Valentine's?
I cook.
Do you do Valentine's? I don't think I do.
I just cook them. I just cook a couple steaks at home and we're done. I get flowers. So, you know.
Yeah. So on February the 14th, it's okay to say I love you, but not the other
Right,
364 days. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's the super love day. You got a super love. I super love you this day.
Or whatever, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, David.
Get it?
1101 English Avenue.
That's it. English and
wow.
Dang, damn it. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on those crossroads, but yeah, English. So yeah. I mean, if in my head when I think of, and I'm not trying to be any way when I say this, I don't mean it wrong, but anytime I think of English Avenue, it's not the nicest
Right. Depend.
thing,
Yeah.
especially if you go to here east of there. I'm not trying to poo-poo the neighborhood. It's just
Death Valley.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah.
But I highly recommend that place, brother. If you and Ann need to get out,
I'll check it out for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think our servers, I think her name was Allie, and she on point laughed at our stupid whatever jokes we were trying to do, and yeah, it was fair, man. Yeah, it was a good spot.
That's awesome.
Yep.
David B.
Tony, we're deep. We're deep into
1 hour
this.
11. Good stuff.
All right. I appreciate this.
Me too, man. Good stuff, David B.
Thanks everybody for listening. Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Sorry we didn't talk any shop today. So
yeah, we really didn't get into that.
We're not talking shop. If you tuned in to Talking Shop, sorry. Again, congratulations to NCT. Renee Garza, you are a man. We appreciate you, and congratulations on your engagement, and everybody else that's listening, Walmart Rich, and everybody. We appreciate all of you, and appreciate you listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast.
We are the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. We are out.